Hi everyone, Jimmy here from My Online Guy, and today we're going to go through a website that we've just completed here at the agency. Now, if you are building a website right now or thinking about doing a website or you have someone building it for you, make sure you tune in because we're going to go through a lot of the tips and tricks that make a really good conversion-centric lead generation website. So the website we're looking at today is a client of ours who's a landscaper that's making a transition from being here in Western Australia to moving over to the ACT into Canberra. So we thought this would be a good time to redesign the website, fresh new feel for a new location. So the existing website's already are still online and still available to look at. So you can use that as a bit of a frame of reference if you like to what we sort of changed. And then the new website's at this address here, which I'll post in the description. So basically, like I mentioned, there's several elements that we feel are critical to the success of a lead generation website. So basically a website that's designed to generate inquiries and leads. So the first thing we do with any website build is consultation. So we sit down with the client, we work out exactly what they want, and we spend hours with the client going, okay, well, tell us a little bit about the history of your business. Tell us about what's worked in the past. Tell us about what hasn't worked in the past. Tell us a little bit about your clients and tell us about what works for you. We really dive deep into the client's business to make sure that we're both on the same page. One of the things we definitely do is discuss needs. So we discuss what the client feels are some of the requirements and some of the needs of their potential customers. The other things we discuss are, like I said, are what we do and what they've done in the past on the website and what's worked and what hasn't. And then one of probably the biggest things to come out of these meetings is expectations, setting the correct expectations. Now, we all know someone that's had a bad experience or themselves has had a bad experience in building a website, because the expectation hasn't been set correctly. The expectation of the designer is generally different to the expectation of the client. So it's important to marry the two together and really sit down and work out what is critical and what the goalposts are, and really educating each other on what should work and what could work and what doesn't. So setting that expectation is important. We really do spend a lot of time doing that with our clients. So just a bit of background, the client couldn't spend a huge amount of time reviewing and looking over and providing advice on what they wanted. So we really had to fill the gaps in a little bit. So that's why we spent a lot of time. As they say, 10 minutes of planning prevents an hour of poor performance. So we spent a bit of time planning what we were going to do for them and how we were going to go about it. And basically we decided that we were going to build it in the way that we felt was the best way to do it. And then we'd talk to the client, whenever he was available for advice, but mainly try and get it 90% of the way there and then get the client to give the feedback at the end and hope we've hit the mark, which we did this time, which is really nice. So that's really important. Now, I'd like to quickly go through the website with you guys, just to show you some of the key elements and features. And then I'll break those features down as we go on. So as you can see, this is the website here. We have a hero image, which is basically the image that's the first thing you see on the website. Nice, beautiful image, personal, like his own image. And then we have this very generic title. So the title here is Landscaping and Design in Canberra. Now, there's a bit of conjecture about what should be here, but this is literally the first thing Google reads when it comes on the website. So this is called a H1 title, and the H1 title needs to really represent what the website's about, because that's what Google frames the whole website about, is basically what's written here. So a lot of people will put their own business name and stuff in here, but a lot of the time the logo and the name of the business is up in the left or right hand side or in the center. So it's really doubling up, and when we can really use that real estate to help Google frame what we do. And then we write a little sub paragraph, which is this is called a H2. We write a little H2 heading here that's got a few of the keywords that we're trying to frame the website around, and a call to action. Now, call to actions are going to come up a lot in this conversation, but that's because we believe it's one of the most critical parts of the success of any lead generation website. So as you can see here, another call to action. So not everyone's going to want to pick up the phone and call you. So you need to give them an option to be able to leave you a message. And the best way to do that, we found, is just a good old email. So this is a form that someone can fill out that they can basically send an email to the client, and the client can get back to them and have that discussion with them. Then we talk a little bit about the whys. We answer those questions: the why, what, how, and when. So we talk about why choose Christie's Landscapes. Another nice photo of some work that he's done for social proof, and we'll go into social proof soon. Another call to action. And then we talk about the services we actually offer. Now, this is a critical part of a website that's designed to generate inquiries, and I'll go into it in more detail. But basically, these pages here are the services that he offers, and they're the actual things that are going to rank on Google, not really the homepage. And I'll go into that in more detail. A bit of social proof. That's another how, what, when, why. Why do our clients love us? We talk about a bit about why, and clients don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about themselves, but it's really quite important. The people that are coming to the website don't know you, so you need to give them a reason to inquire. It's actually a lot of you're asking a lot of a person to actually go in and actually fill in a form or press a button that puts the number in their mobile phone. So we need to give them a reason to actually make contact with us. And then we talk a little bit about, again, why we're the right person for the job. Social proof again. So we talk about how people, how other clients have worked with us and their experiences with it. And then a bit of the projects, photos of the projects that we've done. Another service, but this service is independent of his core service. So we actually built that as its own little feature. Or element, as we call it, and then another call to action, another photo, and then just your standard stuff you need on a website, like links to all the pages. So let's break this website down into its elements and what we feel makes it a good website. So the first thing is structure. So one of the things we do before anything else is we actually sit down and work out the structure of the website. So we actually don't start designing and building until we do a lot of the groundwork to decide what pages are the most critical and what pages don't need to be there, because there's no reason to have pages on your website that don't serve a purpose, if that makes sense. So every page on this website serves a purpose, whether it's to improve the authority, whether it's to add social proof, or whether it's to generate inquiries. Every page has that. So we basically sit down as a team and we work out the structure. We break down the core services and the core business elements of the client, and we build out the structure of the website around those. So, that's the purpose of doing a really good structure. And we also build it in a way that helps Google able to move through the website effectively, because basically if Google can move through the website effectively, there's a good chance a client can as well. And that's called user experience. So we really focus on the user experience because Google rewards websites that have a good user experience. And there's certain metrics and certain goalposts that we use to measure that. And one of them is dwell time. One of them's pages per session. So pages, the number of pages they look at when they're on the website, and the amount of time they spend on the website too. So the way we do that is by having good structure and internal linking. So as you can see here, one of the key features of the structure of this website is the services pages. So there's a lot of links that go in deeper into the website. So the goal is to try and get people to get to where they need to get to in one click, basically. So the homepage has a lot of links and interactions that actually get them to. So if they come to the homepage, they can find out where they need to go pretty within 1 or 2 clicks, basically, of the whole website. So all these link to the certain services, and we'll go through the services because they're pretty important. They're a pretty important part of the search engine optimization process. And as you can see here, we link to some reviews, we link to the landscape design page there. So we got a lot of links that flow through the website to help us get the potential client to where they need to get to be able to make a decision. So that leads us onto these service pages. Now, if I go here to our services, you'll see that this is basically a replication of what was on the homepage. But the whole reason this page is here is that there's a common misconception that the homepage is the most important part of a website.
It actually really isn't. It's important, don't get me wrong, because if someone types in Christie's landscape, it's a thing that's going to show up in the search. But most of your traffic putting a different hat on here, this is a search engine hat, most of the traffic that comes to your website actually goes to service pages. The best way to think of service pages is if you were to break your business down into the core things that you do, each one of them is a service, and those need their own pages. And I'll go through a little bit of why that is. So let's have a look at landscape construction. It's the first one there, right? So basically, this website here, so our services / landscape construction services Canberra, this is the actual page that's going to rank on Google for landscape construction terms, not the homepage. So this page is specifically designed to rank for those keywords that are around landscape construction, like sunken fire pits, concreting, walls, pergolas, barbecue areas, benches. So if someone types in barbecue, benches, landscaping benches, Canberra, when we do this and when we do the search engine optimization, people are going to come to this page, not the home page. So this needs to act like a little mini landing page. It needs to tell the story of your business, as does every other service page on the website. So one of the key things that's missed, and this leads on to the next bit, one of the key things that's missed with service pages in particular, but just websites in general, is a lack of content. And so content is the writing, basically. So generally, most websites that we redesign have a very, very, they're very, very deficient in content. Now, Google's smart, and it's gotten very smart in the last 2 years. It actually goes through the website and reads the content that's on there. So it reads the writing on there and makes a decision about what your website's about. So we want to give it as much information as we possibly can so that when Google comes through here and reads the website and go, okay, well, they mentioned paving, they mentioned decking, they mentioned construction. Okay, well, this website's about landscape construction. We're going to rank it for all these keywords because they've done a good job of explaining to us as Google what they do. And the only way you can do that is by giving them a page that's dedicated to that service. So as you can see here, there's actually probably about 1,000 words of content on this page. And one of the things that we do, maybe that other agencies don't necessarily, is we write a lot of the content for our clients because we know that A, the clients are normally really busy, and B, it's a pretty big expectation to expect a client to know how to write for the way Google wants. That balances the way Google wants and the way customers want to be able to make a decision. So we, even myself personally, I'm not very good at that. So we have someone that I'm close friends with that helps with the writing of the content for pages, and we get some really good results. So we write about the different things that we do. So like concreting, feature walls, pergolas, barbecue areas, benches, and then we talk about landscaping. Then we talk about general landscaping construction topics. So, things that people would type into Google, like how long will it take to complete the construction works? Now this page, because there was so much content, it's not the greatest example. So I'm going to switch over to another page. Let's say paving, for instance, right? So as you can see here, the benefits incorporating paving, pull the different types of paving, right? So we got all the different paving here. And then again, so like we write lots of content that's contextually tied to the topic so that when Google reads it, they can go, okay, we're going to make a cluster of keywords for this page. And the more pages you have, the bigger the cluster, the bigger the clusters are. So the more clusters you can have. And that's really the secret to search engine optimization is having a good framework to be able to build the rest of the stuff you need to be able to rank things in Google, be able to build that off like link building and things like that. So content's really important. I would recommend that you do this properly. So like there's very few people that can really balance balance what Google needs versus what clients need. And so finding someone that can write like that is very rare actually. So I would sort of suggest that anyone that's thinking of doing their website themselves, go and find someone that can do the content for you. With your input, of course, but like find someone that specializes in writing content for websites. That is critical because if you don't get it right, it's counterintuitive. It won't do anything. So it really needs to be written in a way that Google likes and Google can get the information they need from you, but also in a way that humans can read it and actually make a decision. So it doesn't look like a robot wrote it. Now, the next thing I'll talk about is call to actions. So call to actions are basically anything that calls the potential person looking at the website to take an action, whether it's an email, giving us an email address, or clicking a button like this to put the number into a mobile, or even something as simple as clicking a video to watch it. But in a lead generation, like in an inquiry-centric approach, we talk about click-to-call buttons and basically anything that gets them to inquire. So as you can see, this website has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 call to action buttons. Now, you may think that's excessive, but I just want to quickly show you something from another client of mine that's fully optimized for search engine optimization and is doing really well. So they have this website here, and basically I installed a heat map on there to see where people were actually clicking. And as you can see, they've got this call to action button here, a click to call button. As you go down the page, click to call, click to call, click to call, click to call, call to action. So you can actually see that the actual calls, the actual inquiries they get is actually pretty evenly spread across all the buttons on the web page, because people get to different points on the web page before they make a decision. Some people need to read the whole website before they make a decision, read every word. Some people just need to make sure that you're a legitimate business before they contact you. Now, it's actually easier for someone to leave a website than it is to get over that hurdle of them contacting you. So we want to make sure that it doesn't matter where they land on the website and how far they get down the page, that they have some way of getting in contact with us when they're ready to make a decision. So click to call buttons is something we see a lot of that's missing, and especially in websites that are designed to generate leads. So the next thing I've got here is social proof. Now, humans are social animals, so they require a certain amount of proof from others to really help make decisions. So we look at a client like this who's selling a big ticket item and doesn't get many people click, a year. It's sort of like, big ticket, you do 10 or 12, 15 jobs a year, 20 jobs a year. So those people are spending a lot of money. They want to make sure that, Christie's Landscapes isn't a scam. So they look for other people's reviews and feedback on it. And this ties a lot to the brand and how consistent the brand is across every place you are on the internet, your online presence. So we see a lot of people that have these beautiful social media accounts that are optimized, that are being managed, and then their website's a one-page website with no photos on it. And they wonder why they're not getting the inquiries, and it's because there's a disconnect between their brand on social media and their brand on their website. So, we take that into account when we build websites. But as you can see here, we've got social proof here. So if someone wants to learn a little bit more about Christie's Landscapes, it shows their Google reviews. We also have the gallery page, which is of all the work that we've done for other clients. For clients, and I'm quite proud of this gallery page actually, because we tried something different and I think it worked really well, where there's not individual pages, we just separate them by types of photos, and then it automatically flicks through. So if someone's looking at decking, they can also look at the other stuff we do, and it leads to bigger dollar order values. But there's that, and then all of our service pages also have, so these silos that are designed to rank also have social proof. These are jobs that we've done. They look legitimate. They don't look like professional photos, but you can tell that these were taken by the landscaper. So social proof's really important, and it's really important from a brand consistency standpoint. And it's probably more important when your dollar values are a lot higher. So if you're high volume, low dollar value, it's probably less important. If you're a mobile mechanic or something, or a locksmith, it's probably less important. But if you're trying to sell a $30,000 landscaping project, people are going to do research before they contact you. So we need to make sure that anywhere they go on the internet, they see consistency. Now, I've got here looks. Now, looks that ties into social proof a lot. I think it's probably less important for us here personally at My Online Guy, but the best way to think about it is the bigger the dollar figure, the more important the looks become. The smaller the dollar figure and the higher the volume, the less important the looks are. So like when you're trying to sell a $30,000 landscaping build, looks become important because it's a reflection of the work that you're going to do on them. Whether you believe that or not, subconsciously it is. Whereas if you're a locksmith, as long as you can unlock a door, that's all you really need to be able to do. So looks become secondary. It's about functionality and user experience and ranking. Whereas the person coming to this website might go have a look at, might come to the website, they might look at Facebook, they might look at Instagram, they might look at reviews before they even decide to contact you. So looks really depends on the dollar figure of the projects that you work with. Now I've gotten here speed. The website's not optimized yet because we haven't moved it to the server, but once we move this website to where it's going to live, which is on christieslandscapes.com.au, we're going to then optimize it for speed. So that's a lot of changing the photos so that they are compressed, just the structure of the website, making sure it all loads asynchronously. And it's really important to get your speed up on your website. So you basically want a website that loads in less than 3 seconds. That's the industry standard. Google actually puts a lot of weight on how fast your website loads because they know that if it takes 10 seconds for a website to load, there's a good chance someone's going to click out of it because they haven't been able to get the information quick enough. So it's really important to have a fast website. And even if you don't build a new one, really work to increase the speed. And there's plenty of people that offer that service, but it's so critical in modern Google. And it's only been in the last 2 or 3 years that it's really been critical, but it's super critical. And the last thing I have on here is mobile responsiveness. Now, what I mean by that is a website that changes shape properly based on what device it's on. So modern websites actually have no excuse for not doing this. I think if you have a website that's not mobile responsive, you're missing out on 65% of the potential traffic out there because 65% of all the traffic you're going to get on a website comes from a mobile phone. So it's really important to be able to have it display properly on a mobile. And there's tools we use to check that. I mean, we're still working through Christie's Landscapes to make sure it's mobile responsive. But basically, if I change to a mobile phone, which is what I've done here, you can see that the website shrinks, all the photos shrink down. It looks good on a mobile phone. It may be not as tidy. It's as in like there's a lot of things to scroll through, but that's why we have a lot of call to action buttons because if they don't get to this point, they've decided they've made a decision. They've actually made a decision. They can go and click their, they can click on mobile the call to action buttons to get to where they need to be. But being mobile responsive is like I mentioned is like a ranking factor for Google. If your website's not mobile responsive, then you're actually going to miss out on business because Google now decides it ranks websites based on how they present on mobile phones because it's so much of their traffic. And as you can see here, this is based on a tablet, and I'm just going to rotate the tablet. And you can see here on a tablet, presents well. So now I'm going to make it a iPhone X and I'm going to turn it on its side and see how it looks. So, there's most modern website builders will have this in the back of their mind when they build it. But, I see a lot of websites that really don't look good on mobile and they suffer. They don't get the inquiries because of it. So just to recap, the key factors we feel will make you an amazing website that will convert traffic when it comes to it is consultation, having a really good discussion about the requirements and mainly the expectations, the structure of the website, spending a bit of time making sure the structure is right and suits the type of website that you're trying to build. The content, quality content is like the most important thing from a search engine perspective. Honestly, in the last year, that's one of the biggest changes. So content, long form content. So content, 1,000 words of content, 700 words of content. Doing it properly. Call to action buttons. I showed you this. I showed you this map that shows that we probably would have missed out on 50 or 60 clicks if we didn't have those buttons. So because not everyone's going to scroll back up to the top of a website. So call to action buttons. Call to action as buttons is really important. Social proof. Humans are social creatures. They need interaction. So, you need to make sure that you show enough social proof that gets over that hurdle that, no one else has used them. There's this theory that if you're going to run a restaurant, if you have a restaurant that's full of people, it's a self-fulfilling and it's a perpetual thing because more people will come to the restaurant because they see it full. So social proof's really important. The looks. Less important if your website's a high volume, low profit margin website, locksmiths, things like that, where people are just trying to find a locksmith. But when you're trying to sell a really high ticket item, looks are a pretty important part of that, and it's really there to tie the brand together. Speed, make sure your website's fast. There's plenty of tools that will help you decide, will help you show you the speed of the website and what needs to be improved. One of them is GT Metrics. I like that one. And Google even has its own tool. But plenty of places to find ways to speed your website up. And then mobile responsiveness. It's not a matter of it's a nice to have. You have to have a website that works well on mobile. There's no negotiating that anymore. There's so many people searching on mobile that if you don't give Google a good experience on mobile, they just won't show you in the results, or they'll show you really low. So hopefully there's been a few tips and tricks here that will help you build a website that will help you, that can be put to work and actually generate business for you. There's so many websites out there that are just glorified business cards. And if you follow these, these constructs, and again, it's a subjective thing. This is just, we know it works. If you can follow these processes and make sure that you have these elements in there, then there's a good chance that you're going to get a website that does the job it needs to do, which is to generate leads and inquiries for your business. So I'm Jimmy from Online Guy, and if you have any questions, just talk to us and ask us. Happy to help. I love talking about this stuff. So thanks once again for watching the video, and good luck in your website build.